She's an asphalt driver from the Midwest who made it to the Sprint Cup Series. She's a former Miss Motorsports who's the daughter of a sprint car driver from Pennsylvania. Somehow they make it work. Time for Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tire. Here are David and Ashley Stremme.
Hey, y'all, it is that time of the week again. It is time to talk about all the happenings at the Dirt Track World Championship. We're going to talk late models and modifieds and, of course, the big blocks this week. We have Josh Richards joining us. It's Champions Week, let's be honest. It's all about the champions this week. We have Josh Richards. He picks up the World of Outlaws Championship this weekend at the Dirt Track World Finals. Scott Bloomquist, he is your Lucas Oil champion. And last but not least, we have Matt Shepard. He is your Super Dirt Car Series champion. And all of them have broke records this year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. So we'll get to chat with all three of them and talk about their year and maybe where the highs and lows were for them.
I think there's a lot of highs for them.
Absolutely.
You sit there and, like, we were talking to Josh's dad a little bit, and we're like, how can you best the best year you've had? And they just keep doing it. So, Shepard and Schatz had already, in the sprint cars already had set records way back in, when was it, July?
And this was a bad year for him.
Yeah, bad year, but still. but Josh and Matt putting all-time wins for the series, obviously doing it at the World Short Track, it was great. World Finals, I can tell you, I've gone to probably all but two, and it's great to see it growing. The amount of people there, I swear, there was more people there than the truck race, and I'm not knocking the truck race, but it tells the caliber of where dirt racing's at. And
from all over. From Florida to Canada to California.
Other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely insane.
It was neat. A lot of drivers, they go in and they're like, hey, this is they look at it, they're doing all they can to win. Some guys are like, well, we're just testing for next year, But it's very interesting. And, folks, I can tell you this. I notice a huge difference at our shop. It's in an industrial park. When Charlotte has a cup races, you used to see, a lot of fans through there, and it's not so much anymore. But this week was phenomenal with fans just rubbernecking, driving around, slow rolling, just checking everything out. And I thought it was great. So definitely, if you don't have your tickets, you better get them for next year.
And a phenomenal weather was phenomenal this year for the Dirt Track World Championships. Last year, rain pegged most of the weekend. It was cold. It always seems to be cold, but this year it was sunny and 80 degrees. It was absolutely beautiful.
They moved it up a week, too.
They did, but unfortunately, it's back to the same week. It's the first week in November next year.
Oh.
The World Short Track Championship will be this past weekend.
Oh, that's good.
Next year.
But I'll tell you, there's people that it was different vibes in different areas. Brandon Overton, I'm going to give him a shout-out. He had a phenomenal weekend with start in the back. Actually won the B-Main on Friday, come all the way back up to 5th. Other guys were probably ready to get the season over. And the whole Davenport, Rumley, obviously they're splitting. Jonathan announced he's going back to Barry Wright's. And you just see that a lot. And it's not just in dirt racing, a lot of racing where it's like, hey, there's just an end. And they performed okay on Saturday, just not what the Superman status. But other guys, Josh Richards, Chris Madden, McCready had unveiled he'd been in a Longhorn car. He just said, hey, it's the same deal. I just have a little more help from them. He run well. You just look around at the late models. And what I love is the fans. They were the last show on Saturday. The fans, they were there for the late models.
That's right, indeed. Big Blocks put on a great show. Of course, Matt, he has never won at Charlotte and ends up sweeping the weekend. So that'll be interesting to talk about. It's a little different this year for him. He had the points kind of sealed up going into this weekend, where typically that hasn't been the issue. So I wonder, I'm curious to know if that changes his approach to things.
I think, and I don't know how it had ended funny with HBR, but I think Matt had a chip on his shoulder to go out and prove I have a point to make, and we'll ask him about it. I ask him, but
indeed,
his driving, I'm going to tell you, it was just really, really cool to watch. Hearn's there. I just think that he
had a rough year.
Yeah, his program's up and down. But when I look at guys like Stuart Friesen, Shepard, so many younger guys that have been there. And you got to think they're keep getting experience. That drive in them. It's great to see in the Super Dirt cars. A lot of youth and stuff going on. Still, you have the gentlemen like Dr. Danny Johnson and some of the other guys, Tim Fuller. I'm not saying they're old men,
veterans.
but the veteran guys still getting after it. So the big block cars, again, it was neat watching them. They really use the whole track, I should say. I mean, they go out there and they clean it up. Friday it rubbered a little bit, and they come out and did the work for the late models. What they called, scrape the track, all that stuff, farm it. But the Super Dirt cars, it was really neat to watch him. Again, Matt he run around at bottom, and his car was just phenomenal. You can tell he's really went to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And, of course, your favorite, the push start cars, were also there this week.
They talked about that on the last show.
I know, but I just have to mention Danny Johnson
show.
On Friday night, stellar performance. I mean, he had you on the edge of your seat the entire race.
Who was it?
Not Danny Johnson. That's what I'm thinking. Big blocks now.
I'm like, who are you talking about?
Jason Johnson. Goodness gracious.
I didn't even watch Sprint Car Race Friday.
Well, I don't want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was there.
You missed a good race.
Listen, I respect those guys for what they do. But it is too...
Here we go.
Anyways, that's for another show. But I thought, like I said, the vibe in the pit area, it was neat to see Brian Shirley there running. He had a different paint scheme. Quite didn't have the weekend he wanted there. Billy Moyer Jr., he was running very well on Friday. I talked to him. He had a water pressure sensor go bad. He thought the motor was basically lost water pressure, and that didn't happen. But it was neat seeing different runs guys were having. Chase Youngins had a great weekend overall. I looked around, and again, I couldn't really pinpoint that one surprised me. Probably Overton did on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting hearing a lot about him, where he's going on his maybe a new ride and stuff. So a lot moving in the late model world. And it's going to be interesting next few months to see where people land and what's happening.
It is. We've heard a lot over the weekend. With what we do, we get a little inside information from people. So there's going to silly season is going to be there's going to be a lot of gossip these next few weeks.
The one thing that is for sure, Josh is staying, Richards, and then Clanton, and Clanton even said at the banquet, "Hey, I'm coming for you." You hear different guys, but. We've seen this past year where McCready left the World Outlaws, went to Lucas. Is there any of the Lucas guys going to go to World Outlaws? You kind of see some changes of stuff go on. Billy Moyer Jr., is he going to stay with the World Outlaws? Obviously he was Rookie of the Year. It's interesting, and there is no short time anymore because guys are already, we got South Alabama this week. And they'll go their race, and then you have
Sanoa's still racing.
Sanoa, the deep south here. But then you go out west, okay? Yeah. Then you got Tucson, all the other races going on in January. Those guys aren't getting any breaks anymore, right? Matter of fact, I seen Rocket tweet out they're building all these new cars, and I mean, even us as a builder, we're building cars to head out west and do stuff. So it's interesting time of year.
Ready. That's right. You mentioned Francis. I do want to talk real quick about the Chris Francis Memorial. They're doing a really cool thing where they're selling T-shirts, and the money goes to a benevolent fund and ultimately is helping drivers and crew members. I think right now that they're growing just for the late model world, but ultimately want to grow larger and reach anyone in the dirt racing world.
Wow.
But they do have T-shirts for sale. They're also taking just donations. You can find their Facebook page. It is the Chris Francis Memorial Fund on Facebook. I know they've been doing some auction stuff as well, auctioning off different driver doors and seat belts. And Clint Boyer, I think, donated a suit. So they've been doing some really cool things for that, just trying to build the fund so that they can help racers when they're injured.
And it all goes to a great cause.
Indeed.
Those guys are a lot of them probably don't really even have insurance or other stuff when they're racing. They love it, and they don't realize some of the repercussions. So this is a great cause to support and obviously help drivers that are injured.
Indeed. And you can get with your donation, you get a free T-shirt. Absolutely.
And probably a good write-off. Tax write-off.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we will speak to Josh Richards up next here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly. If it's time to replace your vehicle's headlights, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts See Better, Drive Safer sale for a twin pack of Sylvania Silver Star Ultra headlights and get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. See farther and more clearly with Silver Star headlights at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Looking for a great spot for an affordable beach vacation or the perfect romantic retreat? Let the Plaza Resort and Spa help. A vacation on the world's most famous beach is sure to help you reconnect with the ones you love. Discover the grand tradition of hospitality and service on Daytona Beach. The Plaza Resort and Spa is the perfect choice for any type of getaway. Book online at plazaresortandspa.com or call 1-855-DB-PLAZA. That's 1-855-327-5292.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slinging Dirt. Joining us now, he is your World of Outlaws late model champion. It is Josh Richards. Welcome back to the show, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
So a pretty stellar season. I just want to talk about this real quick. You're a four-time World of Outlaw champion, 18 wins this season, which breaks the record. I don't even know what to say. How phenomenal has that been?
It's really been, I mean, it's just been incredible. It's, something, I mean, I couldn't even dreamed up the season that we had, even as a kid growing up. I mean, it couldn't really couldn't have gone any better. I mean, we talked about it before, but it's, from start to finish, it's just more than I can ever dreamed of. And it's just, there's so many people involved that, help make that happen. So it's a really humbling experience, to have the support that you have, but then be able to go out and do it for them, it just means the world.
Well, I know when I was just happy you're back washing today, aren't you?
Yeah, we're washing right now. I'm drenched right now as we speak. So
I love the Twitter. I follow you. I was telling your dad I love it because your wife and them do a great job keeping everybody updated on what you're doing. But I was talking to your dad at the track, and I know he couldn't be more prouder of you, of what you've done, especially as a group. But the surprising thing, I asked him, I said, hey, I want to know a story. I want to know something that nobody knows about Josh. And a lot of people have followed your career. Of course, probably most people don't know how hard you work on your car and how involved you are. But the neatest thing I thought he said was that you ran a race with your shoes on backwards and still finished third.
That was actually at Charlotte, believe it or not. Yeah, I did.
Explain to me how this went on.
I don't even know. I remember we were in a fire drill. It was the Colossal, 100 back in the spring. That was, 50,000 to win, and I guess we were in a hurry, and I was just, trying to go, and I put them on. I was like, man, they felt kind of weird because the Velcro was backwards, but I didn't really pay attention. And we went and we jumped. I forget what happened. There might have been a rain delay or something, so I think that's why we're in such a hurry, and jumped in and ran the feature, and we ran up through there, started in the back of the pack, and ended up finishing third. But I remember under caution, I was like, man, why is my foot like rubbing the firewall so weird? Because it was turned the wrong way. It was pointed out to the end, and I was like, man, something's weird. And then I wasn't really paying attention, and we finished the race, and I went down to the payoff line to get paid afterwards, and I still had my suit and everything on, and I just happened to look down, and I'm like, are you serious? Like right now, like this is actually happening. I was so embarrassed of myself. I was like, oh, this is,
Well, it was funny because you never cease to amaze any of us. I watched Friday, and halfway through I thought, well, you're sitting there riding, and Madden was very good, as he always is at Charlotte, and it was like at the end, I go, where did this come from? I mean, you dug deep and got the job done. Talk about that a little bit, just where you feel so comfortable in the car and some of the things going on that maybe you haven't done in the past.
I don't know. I mean, I think, as a racer, it's, I guess you're always you have to push the envelope, to be successful. And I think, sometimes we get stuck in the, well, my car's not doing this, it's not doing that. I'm not, sometimes I guess you just feel like it's easy to get stuck in some of those slumps. But, I think that, I guess just having the confidence to go out there to try to give it 110%, right or wrong is just something I've always tried to do. And I guess just at the end, you just have to put that little bit extra effort out and, to try to win. Because I realized it a long time ago. When I first started, I remember starting, and I always thought there was like a magic car setup. There was this and that. And I realized very quickly, the car is very important, but it's more important, the driver's job is way more important.
Yep.
And making it, obviously when they're both syncing together is when you're the best. But, I realized very quickly that the driver has to try to make up for, something, because it's not going to be perfect every day, if ever. And you just have to try to do your best to, try to win.
And as you said that, it's funny, obviously the Rocket brand has done very well. Other drivers that have done well. And I'm sure you get a lot of people who are like, well, I want same as Josh is running. But a lot of don't know, and I watched it, and it was really cool to see their Friday. And even Saturday you were doing it. There's guys that they just kind of just stick to their one lane. They're just, you searched around, you're like, hey, I'm going to make something happen here. And it definitely shows the driver side of things compared to equipment. Is that something in correct answer, or what are your thoughts on it?
I guess so. I don't know. I guess I've never been one to just sit and ride. Sometimes you have to, and it's got me in trouble, but I think you just learn over time as, when to go and when not to go and what chances to take. But usually if there's a chance to be taken, it's usually, we usually try to go for what we can. But, I have a hard time just sitting in one spot and riding something out. It's just, I love to race, and that's the challenge that's the part for me that is fun, because it's always such a challenge, and you always want to push yourself to be better, and that's the part that if we have a race where we had a really good car and we're able to run smooth and we win, that's great. But if I feel like I gave it 110% and we finished fifth, and that's all and I gave it all I had, and it's kind of like going to the gym and giving a good workout. It's just it just makes you feel better. That you gave it everything you had.
Yep.
Well, with such a successful season, looking back on the year, is there any part of the season that, like one story that sticks out, good, bad, or ugly, no matter what it is, that you can look back at now and laugh and go, well, we still ended up with a pretty darn good season?
I don't even know. Everything went so smoothly. We had some hiccups and throughout the way, and it's like, whether it was our tire Saturday, wheel getting bent Saturday, or, we folded the nose under at the dirt track world championship and ended up third. And, there were so many races where I was like, man, I feel like we had a good car, running out of fuel at Knoxville. We had a good car and in contention to win, and we just didn't pull it off. But then I look back at the rest of the year, and it's like, holy cow, we had a very, very blessed year. And it was something I couldn't dream about.
I'll tell you, and your dad brought this up, and I couldn't agree with him more, because I felt the same way. At the Falls draw race, when you showed your strength of not only just coming through the field, but where you're able to run on the track, right through the middle, to some of the best guys that run the little bull rings, I thought that was a pretty big statement at that point of the time of the year of where your guys' program was at.
Yeah, I think, that race, I remember Clanton gave me the 10 because, he had the 9. He was like, well, we'll start side by side. And I didn't think we'd even have a shot at it. It was. Yeah. I was like, well, this is fun. We'll just go out there and try to see what we can do. And at that point, in those situations, it definitely gives you confidence as a driver and, as a team that, when you can maneuver like that and are able to maneuver, it's like, okay, we have something that's pretty good. We just need to try to stick to it. And it really, I guess, taught me to be more patient. I probably learned more patience this year than anything as a driver. It's just something that I guess you just learn over time. I think being able to, move around and run, not just be stuck dead in the bottom or dead in the top, in the traction line, but being able to use all of that and still maintain when you have to, That probably particular race, I learned quite a bit for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, so this schedule, it's not like it's easy. I remember you talking about in January, you tested, you're gone for so many weeks. What is in store for Josh and your better half? I'm sure she's got something planned now that the season's over.
I think now the biggest thing is this week is just get everything cleaned up and get our car stripped down and we already have a new car built. Just trying to get everything regrouped and kind of set, to where we got stuff rolling. But next week we're planning on, taking a whole week off and going on vacation to Gatlinburg. We go every year.
Yeah.
Just kind of go relax and get away from, racing a little bit just to, because it's just, it takes so much out of you, traveling nonstop that we're just going to go and do something non-racing related for, for a full week. And then we'll be busy the rest of the winter, obviously getting stuff ready to go again. So it's like it never really shuts down or stops. Yeah. It's always, we're in race mode all winter long. It's just a matter of getting stuff built and getting stuff ready so we can start back all over again.
Is your dad and them going to let you keep that car that you just ran World Finals, just kind of like put it away over on the side?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we actually, that car's got almost 5,000 laps on it, which is something that we've never done before. And we just kind of want to, inspect it over really well and look at it. And the performance from day one to, the last lap that we ran, I feel like, it was there the whole entire time. So it's something that we're definitely proud of, the chassis builder. And that's why we just kind of want to, see what's going on and always try to make improvements. But I think that's our plan here shortly.
I think it'd be cool to keep because you would have it probably. I'm going to say your chances of getting in the Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame would be good, which it'd be cool to have that car there someday.
Yeah, but I don't know. We got a long way to go to worry about that. We're just. I'm just truly. I just love to race, really, and then just to be able to race with these guys week in, week out. Obviously, to be successful is something that. That we all dream about, but really just to go out there in the act of racing and the challenge is the part that that's what I missed the most about when I, sitting out 2 years ago was, I just, I don't know. It's just that, I guess a lot of times it feels stressful and you're always trying to push and you're like, man, what are we doing this for? And then, when that gets taken away, you realize how much, that's why you love it. And that's what keeps you going. And so I really just love to race and the rest of it's just a bonus.
I love it. We just need to work on getting Mark to smile in Victory Lane. I swear to God.
Actually, yeah, he actually went through. It's funny because we won the first race back in February, and he didn't come to Victory Lane, so he's a little superstitious. So he didn't come like the entire year until I think Charlotte might have been his first Victory Lane picture of the year, either there, or maybe Pittsburgh. But he just gets that way. So he's like, well, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to Victory Lane. So, But yeah, he always has a surprised look on his face. But
even at the banquet, he still doesn't smile. And I know he's very proud of you, Josh. We did have the chance to talk with him, and he wanted to tell so many stories. He's like, that one's not good for air. Let's not talk about that. But he is very proud of you.
No, I know. No, he's been he never really, truly, we talked about it before, doesn't get enough credit for, being in this business for 40-some years, I just don't even know how it's possible. It just takes so much to keep going, but he still has that drive and still has that fire to be successful, and that's a huge part of why we've been as good as we have is being able to work together.
You know what, I was watching, and maybe you could talk about the World Finals and the atmosphere that was there this weekend. And I don't even know if you were able to take it in, but I was watching the World Finals from 2007 on YouTube, and from what it has come in 9 years, it's phenomenal at dirt racing and the state that it's at.
Oh, it is. I've said it before. That event is by far the biggest dirt event that's ever existed. There are more prestigious races, and whether it's the King's Royal or the sprint cars, or whether it's the World 100 or whatever. But just that event as a whole is it's incredible, and it's really cool to be a part of and to see all the fans. It's just like the drivers get more pumped up, and the fans are more pumped up, and it's really cool to be a part of. And it would definitely be devastating not to have that. So to have that to look forward to at the end of the year, to be able to be a part of, and just kind of everybody come together, to finish the year out, it definitely it's a lot of fun.
It is. I mean, I know as a fan last weekend, I loved it. It was great. Again, my wife and I get into it because the push start cars, but I enjoyed the self-starting cars a lot. But even though I will say I have a lot of respect for Donnie Schatz, and he had done a great job in the late models. How cool was it? Did you get to work with him? Does he lean on you? How is that relationship with him?
We've been pretty good friends the last probably 3 years or so, and he's kind of gotten into it. And for him, I think it's such a challenge because he knows. I mean, he's obviously a phenomenal racer, and I think that it's just another challenge. I mean, the sprint car stuff. It's like, what else can he do? He punts so much, and he still enjoys that. But I think this is just a whole new outlook, and he's good. I mean, he's obviously that's why he's so successful and so fast, because he's a great racer. But he leans on us quite a bit. But a lot of times he's like, man, I just got to do better, and he'll just go out there and just work on himself, or tweak the car a little bit here and there. But he's been really great to work with, and he kind of, he's pretty self-sufficient. They have a really great team, and Kevin that works on the car and keeping everything up, and he takes extremely good notes. I mean, he's probably the best note taker I've ever seen. And I'm just writing stuff down, keeping up with the car or what he needs to do. So I think that's just, just apply to sprint car stuff to this, and I think there's no surprise that he's been successful. I think if he ran one a full year and actually could run week in and week out, I mean, the sky's the limit. I think it's just hard to jump in right at the end of the year and run the sprint car all the time back and forth. A few events here and there. By the time you get it figured out, then you got another 2 or 3 months break. So I think, to be as fast as he has been, I think it's been pretty cool to see.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit because you might have some inside information. Being with Donnie Schatz, I saw a picture that Tony Stewart came up and congratulated you after this weekend. Will he be in a rocket? We've seen him tweet pictures of him working on a late model. Will he be in a rocket at all next year?
I don't know the plans. I know they talked about it some. I really don't know what his plans are for next year and how much he's going to be racing. I know they talked about, potentially getting a car, but beyond that, I really don't know.
Yeah. I think Tony will be, the little bit that I've talked and seen, he's just going to play it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
like, hey,
he's going to have fun.
If he wants to go to Knoxville run a late model, he'll go run a late model, and I'm sure every one of us in the racing industry would be happy to have him drive a car. Because he's a good racer and you'd have fun. But when you talk about Donnie and like you hit it where if he could run it a lot more, it's hard to say what kind of success he would have, because in the limited amount of time he has in a late model, and he runs the two probably biggest shows, it's amazing to see him how well he runs when he does get to jump in that late model.
Oh yeah, it's without a doubt. It's I know if the roles were reversed and I got in a sprint car, I wouldn't even want to think about going out there. There's no way I could get up to speed, I don't think. But it's really cool to see.
I love it. Well, Josh, we appreciate you being on the show, and congratulations on a phenomenal season. We can't wait to see what you do in 2017. It's been a phenomenal year, and thank you for joining us on the show. We do appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you guys again. Have a great off season.
Thank you.
All right, you too.
Love it. It's just, you look at a season like him and, Bloomquist and Matt, how do you top it? Yeah. I'm waiting for the year that, like, the guy wins every single whatever series race there is.
There's always, and it'll be interesting because I'm not saying Josh is new. He's definitely had success, but, like, Scott has had success over years.
Absolutely.
So how is it to stay on top?
I don't know. We'll ask him next here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly
When it comes to vehicle safety, having poor visibility is a risk not worth taking. Get set for this fall's weather by visiting your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store during the See Better, Drive Safer sale. You'll find deals on name brand headlights, wiper blades, and everything you need to see better and drive safer. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
Visit Tom Johnson Camping World in Concord for all your race week needs. Race into savings now and save big on over 400 units in stock. America's #1 RV and outdoor retailer has something for everyone. Get race season started at your local NASCAR headquarters with travel trailers starting at only $109 per month. Don't let these savings pass you by. Meet us at Tom Johnson Camping World and save big on your dream RV. STK number 126508, payments to qualified buyers with approved credit subject to lender terms. Based on statistical surveys 2015. See dealer for full offer details and disclaimers. Offers expire December 30th, 2016.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. We're the Stremmes. Joining us now, he is your Lucas Oil late model champion. It is Scott Bloomquist. Welcome back to the show, Scott.
Hey, thank you very much.
So I've got to just put it out there because I think it's awesome. Record-breaking 880 points lead over second place.
Wow.
Pretty stellar year.
Yeah, it was pretty good. If we could have got to the track on time, or this year we might have had a little better one. But no, it was a good year. We had a good time trying to get there most of the time.
That's the thing that
That's
we
funny.
were talking. We just got done talking to Josh, and he's a relatively younger guy, but how hard is it to stay on top? I mean, you have had championships and won races over decades. What's the little secret?
Oh, you don't ever go home. You just, it's kind of tough. There's such a fine line in communicating with people and others and who you communicate with. I've always seemed to do my best when I don't communicate with too many. But then, you get Josh and the huge amount of information that probably comes in to them from other racers around the country. And I imagine they get to sort through a lot of it, but they probably hear a lot more things that are successful for people and get a chance to maybe test them more. Normally we get a test quite a bit, and this year we didn't test hardly any. We tested after Florida and haven't had time. And
Wow.
We've been doing a lot of our testing in the shop, though, just trying to mock up things and study things a little bit differently than I have in the past.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty bad for the competition if you didn't get to test much, I'd say.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to go this week. Like I said, it's been since February since we tested, so
yeah.
People may not believe it, but I'll try just one little thing, different weeks, and we'll just and I'm so tuned into the car that I usually can feel pretty well what effect it had, positive or negative, and sometimes this year we found a few things that seem to work good everywhere, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
You get something that works one place or on the banks, and then it isn't no good on flat tracks, and we've hit on some things where we don't have to do a whole lot of tuning or adjusting, traveling around. So that makes it a little bit easier.
With the season you had, and we asked Josh, we said, hey, the car you run, he's washing it and stuff. Is your dad going to let you keep it and put it aside? Is there a car, and you might have it, or one car, if you don't have it, that you go, man, I wish that thing was just sitting in the corner, and, it just had a lot of prestige that you had admired with that race car?
Well, we've got a car still right now. I mean, we raced it quite a bit this year. It's on its third year, and it is the second of my newest design that we did 3 years ago. The first one that one we kind of wished we'd had back, but this one here is equally as good. So, and then since then made some small changes, but it's definitely worth keeping that one around, and it is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the new one's a little better. But then sometimes I get that one out, and it just amazes you. So that's one I don't think I'll ever let go. It'll always be one I can go back to, and we probably won't do many updates to it. Just leave it like it is, and just build new stuff, and always keep it to have something to do back-to-back testing with.
You talk about doing mock-ups in the shop and simulations and all that good stuff and learning your race car. For our listeners who don't understand, what actually takes part there, does it really correlate what you're doing in the shop compared to going out and testing? Obviously, I mean, it worked for you this year. You said you haven't tested since February. But how close of a relationship of actually being on track and just trying to make it happen in the shop work?
It's difficult to directly relate the shop stuff. You can so many things though that I think that you find that once you see it kind of becomes common sense to you, even if it wasn't before. So I'll just make an absolute decision usually that's got to be better, and just do it and live with it. But and if unless I just all of a sudden are running bad, then I might have to rethink it. But I make some pretty strong decisions and stick with them usually. And we tested so much last year that I had plenty to still absorb. And so just to keep all of that in the back of my head, and then try to relate all of that to testing and doing things in the shop, and with mocking up and simulate things, it's a never-ending thing. I don't think that one thing about it, you can buy equipment to work on your cars in the shop, but they don't come with a manual, and they sure don't come with any way telling you how to go faster. That's still up to you, and there's still plenty of work to do. Actually, I'm not so sure it isn't more work doing it in the shop than testing.
Yeah. Hey, we were talking about all this talk World Finals, and I have to ask you, I was surprised. I didn't see you last week. A little disappointed. I wanted to see you race and stuff. Where were you at, and what was going on?
Well, I went fishing.
That's pretty good.
and hung around the shop. Me and my wife spent some time together and had a nice weekend. But I miss being there. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of people who were expecting us there, I believe. I think the premature announcement that the case was being dropped with us in World Racing Group and the Eldora Speedway, I think, caught a lot of people off guard when all we really did was relocate from New York to working on relocating to another state. So it's not dropped, and we're all continuing to pursue that, because it was absolutely a real bad deal and wrong. So we want to establish some case law and some things for the future so that we can prevent it from happening to other people, hopefully.
Well, I hope that all gets resolved soon. I know as a fan, last weekend it was disappointing not seeing you there, and hopefully everybody can put that aside, because it's not too far away. We got Gator Nationals and everything else. So,
yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be and how long it's going to take. That's the other thing. It's troublesome to me. We all want to race. We want to be at Volusia. We don't know that we'll be able to have everything resolved by then, and we want to be at Eldora again. Don't know that we'll have everything resolved by the time that comes around again. I'd like to hope so, but it'll be. I don't know enough about these types of things to know how long it could take. So hopefully it will be, and we'll be back out there, and we definitely miss it.
So on the other things, your season you had this year, how does it compare in past seasons that you've had, success?
A little more chaos.
Really? I mean, 800.
More chaos.
You set a record-breaking 880 points, and you say it's chaos.
Oh Lord, that's the thing. It's that's why I just in some of my interviews I've said to people, it's just I know we can do better, and we did. We had a lot of second place finishes that just if cautions would have fallen a little different, if just that's things that you can't control. The same tire choice next year would probably be the right one, and it's just some close calls and had some really good second place finishes. Might have been, we're coming on at the end. It would have needed many more laps to win those events. And it's just gives you things to look forward to. We know we can have a better season. We also know, just like some of the guys, they have stellar seasons and then, come back and they don't win many races. I've not had many seasons like that, but I don't know that I've ever had a season where I come back and not win but a race or two. But
yeah,
it's getting tougher. Everyone's working harder. Everyone's spending more money. Everyone's buying and getting the best equipment. A lot of people sharing information and trying to, whenever you put yourself kind of at distance from the rest and stay to yourself and don't join in that clique of communication, it seems like that the other there's a group that kind of pulls together and works together for one goal, and that's to knock you off the hill. So next year will not be easier. We're going to have to work just as hard, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. With I was watching videos. I was saying this from early 2000s, mid 2000s. They're talking about Billy Moyer not, his being his last season. You've gone from the younger guy to the veteran guy. I'm not saying you're the oldest guy. Is there a point in your career you're going to say, hey, yes, I'm going out winning, or you don't even think about that? You're just like, hey, we're just going to go kick some more, ass next year and then go from there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's going to take something physical that is going to keep me from racing. If something were to happen, let's say eyesight or something that you can't fix, that would be probably the only thing that would keep me from racing. It's kind of funny you say that because I was reading some statistics on and I am the oldest driver to win a major championship in dirt racing. And when I read that, I thought, because I don't feel that old. So to hear that, and at 52, and then they said, well, Freddie Smith was 48 and I thought, well, I used to look at him as kind of old then. And he was 48, and I'm thinking, it's just amazing, the perspective, and I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. I think I could probably outrun and outwork and think the majority of them in the pits, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's a lot for your fans, and I've said it time and time. I'll say it again. The determination in what you have done over not just a couple years but decades says a lot about that, and you definitely have a drive like no other. So we appreciate you being on the show. Hopefully you're not doing too much more fishing and all this gets resolved and a lot of the fans can see you back at the track. But you have a great off season, and again, congratulations on your championship.
I appreciate it. When I get off here, I'm going to text you a picture of the bass I caught just last week, and you'll be
all right.
You'll know I had a pretty nice weekend.
That's good then. That's good.
All right.
Thanks, Scott. We appreciate it.
I don't know who's in trouble, the racers or the fish. He's. I say it all the time when you look at. And not just him, Jimmy Johnson just won at Martinsville, locks him into going after a 7th championship. So many, we'll just say racers, athletes, whatever, the determination is what definitely separates people. Josh is in washing his car, so it's really neat. That's something that probably people, whether they hate him or like him, they have to give credit to them competitors of where they're at.
Indeed, and this
Same
next
with-
guy,
yes,
he
same with the
has
next
a whole
guy.
lot. He has a big story for this year, and determination totally backs that up. So we'll talk to Matt Shepard here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly.
If
If it's time to replace your vehicle's headlights, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts See Better, Drive Safer sale for a twin pack of Sylvania Silver Star Ultra headlights and get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. See farther and more clearly with Silver Star headlights at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
Are you ready?
To help children forget about their serious medical conditions so they can just be a kid. Then support Victory Junction, which is the dream of late race driver Adam Petty, who wanted to build a camp where children concentrate on fun and laughter, not illness or disability. At Victory Junction, kids enjoy ziplining, horseback riding, swimming, fishing, all in a medically safe environment, all at no cost to the camper. What do you say, Richard Petty?
Let's do this.
Learn more at victoryjunction.org.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. It is champion. This is the champion show we've had.
Before we get into the other champion,
Yeah.
I forgot this. I got to give a shout out. Tyler Carpenter, little guy from up in West Virginia, made the show Friday night, racing Don O'Neill in a heat race. I thought that was a heck of a job by him.
Jared
So a
Smith
little
as
shout
well.
out to him.
A
Yes,
little local guy as well.
Anyways.
Anyhow, back to champions. We have Matt Shepard. He is it's his 5th Super Dirt Car Series title. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. An amazing year. And I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start at the beginning. Phenomenal. You go out on your own. You learn that you're leaving HBR. You go out, you start your own race team, you buy the cars, and to have a season like you've had this year is truly remarkable. Where can you culminate what's happened this year?
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's just storybook. You kind of put a plan together in the off season, and you could only dream that it would turn out the way that it did. But to have a season like we did, just unbelievable. Couldn't have scripted it any better.
Well, I know from a side of a fan side, when I was watching this weekend, you had never won at World Finals. You won Friday, but Saturday, and you even said in Victory Lane, you won Friday, you won from the pole, you were still strong. But Saturday, it was phenomenal to watch you. You raced through the field, just kind of, had your own pace there, and that car had to be so fun to drive. I mean, it was fun watching, I know that.
It really was. I mean, all weekend, it was just a joy to drive. I think we had a really good car Friday night. Maybe it didn't show as good because we started on the pole, but that race Saturday night was so much fun. The track was so wide and racy, and we could run all over it. And to pass some of the best in the business and get to Victory Lane and sweep the whole weekend, I mean, it was just a storybook ending to a storybook season.
You haven't won at Charlotte Motor Speedway,
That's
the
hard to
dirt
believe.
track at Charlotte. But I'm curious, coming into this weekend, you typically didn't have the season clinched. You were either battling Friesen or whoever it may be for the points coming down to the very last race Saturday night. This year it was a little different. You had 10 wins coming into the weekend. You already had a clinch once you qualified. Did that kind of change your mindset about the racing because you weren't worrying about that points championship in the back of your mind?
I think it probably did. It was one of the first times since this World Finals deal started that we weren't battling down to the end for a championship, and kind of had all the pressure off, and we're just down here, having some fun and racing like we know how to do, and very unstressful weekend. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Just trust your equipment and trust the decisions you make, and just go out and drive the way you know how to drive, and the results kind of showed for themselves.
I think it says a lot to a statement of not just yourself, but yet a single car team. Because I'll say single car, there's a lot of multi-car teams in the Super Dirt car, but you had come from a multi-car team last year, and it shows and gives guys a breath to say, hey, you can still do it on a single-man team. How do you feel about that? Also with, like I said, the multi-car team going to your single car?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in both situations, and, a multi-team car or car team has its advantages, but at the same time, I think it can be a distraction. And, sometimes you just need to sit down and focus on what you're doing and what you got going on, and don't worry about what everybody else has got going on, and you'll be better off for it in the long run.
And especially when you get to not only wheel the car, but wheel the ship. Talk about what it's been like, getting to make your own decisions and not having to do what someone else wants you to do, but also that brings a whole nother playing field. You're actually juggling budgets and travel, and talk about that side of things, not just driving a race car.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a whole nother side of it, and it gets hectic doing that stuff. But at the same time, I feel like I got a pretty good handle on what it takes to win races and win championships as far as equipment and parts and pieces and what stuff breaks and what stuff doesn't break. And, at the end of the day, I can put every part on that race car that I think is the correct part to have on that race car. And I think it showed this year with our, just finishing and, not breaking stuff down and still having the speed and winning races. It's pretty good balance between all of that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the thing that free isn't always for me, I tell people, but
right.
There are a lot of people. Tell me about some of the people that help you out, because this was a program, like you said, you threw together. You got to have some great sponsors and people that's helped you throughout this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been phenomenal. I mean, we got FX Repair Chevy on the side, Extreme Lubricants, Westmoreland Golf Club, Mohawk Northeast, LFR helps us out, Sonic Auto, Finishing Touch Construction, Amsterdam Trailer Repair, Camara Slate, as well as a lot of products too. I mean, obviously Bicknell Race Car, Integra Racing Shocks, CC Engines, Sweet Steering, DMI Rears, Burt Transmissions, BA Headers. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on.
All good products.
Indeed.
All good
Indeed.
products.
A stellar season, to say the least. 12 wins total. It breaks the record for wins in the Super Dirt Car Series. Are we going for 13 next year?
Absolutely. In this deal, it's really been amazing because, for a few years in a row now, I've finished the season. I thought to myself, how could I possibly top this year? And somehow we managed to do it. So we're gonna work hard this winter, and we would like to think that we should be stronger next year. I think we were definitely stronger the second half of the year this year than the first half, so hopefully we can go into next season stronger than we started out last year.
Awesome. Well, Matt, congratulations on an awesome season. We look forward to watching you try to make it even better in 2017, but we appreciate your time, and thanks for being on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. I look forward to seeing them big block cars at the Gator Nationals down in Florida. It's always cool. They're, obviously wintertime is coming upon us up there in the Northeast pretty fast, and they get out early. They get down there to the Gator Nationals, and they're hanging out, watching and enjoying themselves, and it'll be fun seeing Matt and all the rest of them out there.
Indeed. We'll be back here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly.
When it comes to vehicle safety, having poor visibility is a risk not worth taking. Get set for this fall's weather by visiting your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store during the See Better, Drive Safer sale. You'll find deals on name brand headlights, wiper blades, and everything you need to see better and drive safer. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
On November 13th, the NASCAR semifinal comes to Phoenix.
Just about everybody here is holding their breath.
Harvick, Busch, Johnson.
Man, they almost wrecked right there.
Edwards, Hamlin, Stewart.
It feels like you're on pins and needles.
When a Sprint Cup championship is on the line.
Wow, look at him slam.
Every moment counts. The Can-Am 500 on November 13th. Secure the best remaining seats now at PhoenixRaceway.com.
Missed the race this weekend?
Danica Patrick is up in flames. Home Menard will crash.
Or just want to relive the best moments?
That was an amazing finish.
Catch all of the action and highlights right here.
Jimmy Johnson gets nailed, and it's a big one.
It's the Sprint Cup replay getting you on the fast track to victory lane.
Woo! Good job, Kansas, yes.
Don't be left out of the conversation Monday at work. Listen to the Sprint Cup replay on MRN.com Mondays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. We're the Stremmes, and unfortunately, that's the last time I get to say that.
Yeah, it is, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
It is. Today is our last show of not only the season, but it will also conclude all of Slinging Dirt.
Yeah. Well, they'll get to see you still on that Push Start show.
Yes,
so,
yes. I'll still be doing Wing Nation on MAP TV, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah, 2 years we've been doing this. I know even before they said this, I said, hey, look, I had already made my mind up. It was my last show. But MRN did that too. So we appreciate everything they've allowed us to do, and hope you fans enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Many thanks to... I'm going to get choked
Hercules
up.
Tires.
Hercules Tires, everyone at MRN who has made this possible. And most importantly, our drivers who have been on the show, but more importantly, you for joining us. Thank you.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on MRN.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.